So hello student, welcome to my second lecture on general introduction to drugs. So these are the points that we had covered in the last lecture, that is definition of drugs. So in general the drug may be defined as any substance which is used in the prevention, diagnosis, treatment or cure of disease in man or other animals. That substance is called as drugs. Another definition according to WHO, a drug may be defined as any substance which is used or intended to be used for modifying or exploring physiological systems or pathological state for the benefit of the recipient, that is called as drug. And second point is sources of drugs. So the drug are presently come from the following sources, that are chemical synthesis 50%. The 50% of drug is coming from chemical synthesis. Second one is higher flowering plants 25%, microorganism 12%, minerals 7%, animals 6%. Then the next point that we have learned in the last lecture, that is requirement of an ideal drugs. So there are some requirement for an ideal drug. So in that the first requirement is that drug should have localized action at the site where it desired to act, but normally or in actual condition there is no drug which behaves in this way or generally tend to distribute itself anywhere in the tissue of the host. Then second requirement for an ideal drug is it should act on a system with efficiency and safety. Third one is it should not have any toxicity. The drug should be non-toxic. The third requirement is it should have a minimum side effects. Although there is no drug which don't have any side effects, all drugs having side effects, but in requirement of an ideal drug, your drug should have minimum side effects. The next point, it should not injure the host tissue or physiological processes. Then the last requirement is The cell should not acquire tolerance or resistance to the drugs after prolonged use. So these are the points that we had covered in the last lecture. Now today we are going to learn classification of drugs in detail. So on the basis of therapeutic action, the drug can be classified into four broad types. On the basis of therapeutic action, the drug can be classified into four broad types. That is, first class is functional or pharmacodynamic agent. Second one is chemotherapeutic agent. Third one is vitamins. Fourth one is hormones. So we'll see one by one. So what is functional or pharmacodynamic agent? These are the drugs which acts on various physiological functions of the body. That drug is called as pharmacodynamic agent. These are the drugs which acts on various physiological functions of the body, and these may further classified as follows. So this pharmacodynamic agent again classified into these types. First one is non-selective CNS depressant. Example is hypnotic and sedatives. Second class is selective modifiers of CNS. CNS means central nervous system. Example is tranquilizers. Third one is CNS stimulants. Example antidepressant. Then another class, adrenergic stimulants and blocking agents, histamine and antihistaminic agents, local anesthetics, cardiovascular agents, hematological agents, diuretics. So these are the pharmacodynamics agent which acts on various physiological functions of the body. Then second broad class is chemotherapeutic agent. So what is chemotherapeutic agent? The treatment of infectious disease by using chemical agent is called as chemotherapy, and the substance employed is referred to as a chemotherapeutic agent. Chemotherapeutic agents act in such a way that they kill or destroy the disease producing organism without any harmful effect on cell in which the organisms are present. So let's consider this antiprotozoal as a chemotherapeutic agent. So this antiprotozoal drugs, it specifically kills that protozoa without affecting the other healthy cell of your body. So these chemotherapeutic agents are further divided into following types. So these are the types of chemotherapeutic agents based on the causative organism which they destroy and the disease which they cure. The first one is organometallic compounds, anthelmintics, antiprotozoals, antimalarials, antifungals, antiviral, antiseptic, antibacterials in bracket sulfur drug, antibacterial in bracket antibiotics, antitubercular drugs, anti-leprosy drugs, anti-neoplastic drugs, antibiotics. So these are the types of chemotherapeutic agents. Then third broad class is vitamins. So these vitamins are the organic compounds which are required by an organism in a small quantities for normal health and growth, but most of them are not synthesized by organism. So further they are of different types depending on their solubility. So the first type of vitamin is water soluble vitamin, vitamin C, and a group of vitamin B from B1 to B12. These are the water soluble vitamin. Then second one is fat soluble vitamin, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. These are the fat soluble vitamin. Then third type is insoluble in both water and fat, that is vitamin H or biotin. Then fourth broad class of drug is hormones. So what is hormones? They are regulatory substances secreted by endocrine glands or ductless glands and are directly poured into bloodstream. They are required in a very small concentration for controlling and regulating metabolism, growth, and reproduction. They are further classified as follows depending on specific function which they control. So these are the regulatory substances secreted by the endocrine gland and ductless gland. So they are further classified depending on which function they control. So first one is thyroid hormone and anti-thyroid drugs. Second one pituitary hormones. Third one hypothalamic hormones. Fourth one pancreatic hormones and hypoglycemic agents. Third one is sex hormones. It's not a third one. Fifth one and sixth one is adrenal cortex hormones. So this is all about the classification of drugs. Drug has been classified into four broad types: functional drug, chemotherapeutic agents, vitamins, and hormones. So to prepare this image, I have used Mind Master app. You can also use this Mind Master app to remember some such things. So by using this Mind Master app, you can prepare any image. So after preparing that, you can easily memorize that. So now by looking at this image, you can easily remember the classification of drugs. Is classified into four broad types, that is functional, chemotherapeutic, vitamins, and hormones. Again, the types of that, each class is there. Functional, these are the types of that functional or pharmacodynamic agent. Then this is the type of for chemotherapeutic agents, and this is for vitamins, hormones. So you can download this from browser. You can simply type Mind Master, and next step is you can easily download that. After downloading, you can install that, and it is a very interesting and very important software to prepare mind map. Then the next point that we are going to learn is nomenclature of drugs. Drug may have three or more names like chemical or systematic name, generic, official, or a common name, or a non-proprietary name. The third one is proprietary, trivial, brand, or trade name. We will see one by one what is chemical or systematic name. So this chemical name, this should be describe the chemical structure of the drug, the name is given according to the rules of nomenclature of organic compounds, as the chemical name is sometimes very elaborate and it is not suitable for routine usage. So this is the structure of your paracetamol, and the chemical name according to IUPAC nomenclature is N-acetyl 4-aminophenol. So this is the chemical name, so it is not useful for routine usage, so that's why we are not using its chemical name in routine usage. Then this is your aspirin. Aspirin is one of the drug, and the chemical name of that aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. Acetyl salicylic acid. The next one is generic or official or a common name or a non-proprietary name. So this is the common name. Paracetamol is the common name. It is one of the pain cure drugs. Then aspirin, it is a common name or generic name for this acetyl salicylic acid, and paracetamol is the common name for this N-acetyl 4-aminophenol. So these are the common name. Now we will see in detail what is common name. This name refers to the common established name by which a drug is known. So we know this drug by its name, paracetamol and aspirin, which is established by the drug known and as an isolated substance irrespective of its manufacture. It should be simple. So the criteria for the generic or official name is it should be simple, concise and meaningful, but often it is not. The first letter is not capitalized. Now here you can see that the first letter of common or a generic name is not in capital form, it is in a small form, small letter. P is in a small letter, and here the aspirin, I mistakenly do that, but this A should be in a small letter. Then it is chosen by official agency on a worldwide scale. WHO has been the official agency to select, approve and disseminate the generic name of the drug. So here this name is given by the WHO, that is World Health Organization. It is the official agency who can select, approve and disseminate the generic name of the drug. This is all about generic, official. It's not a for, it's a or common name or a non-proprietary name. Then third name for the drug is proprietary, trivial, brand or a trade name. So what is this proprietary, trivial, brand or a trade name? This is the individual name selected by and used by the manufacturers. If the drug is manufactured by more than one company, it is frequently happen each firm or each company assign its own proprietary or a brand name or a trade name. It should be written such that the first letter of each word of the name is in capital. The trade name should be catchy, short and easy to remember, and the name should be suggestive, that is indicating for what purpose it is to be used. So the brand name for paracetamol is Diamidone, Lemsip, Pandol, Panamix. These are the brand name for paracetamol. The brand name for aspirin, which is a acetyl salicylic acid, and marketed under the different trade name or a brand name like Disprin, Ecosprin, Aspro and Anacin. These are the brand name for aspirin, which is a acetyl salicylic acid, and the brand name for paracetamol, which is the N-acetyl 4-aminophenol, and the brand name for this N-acetyl 4-aminophenol is Diamidone, Lemsip, Pandol and Panamax. Then brand names generally differ in a different countries. It depends on the countries. Similarly, the same manufacturer can market the same product with a different trade name. Same company can market the same product or the same drug with a different name. Then synonyms. What is synonyms? So these are the names given by manufacturers to the drug, to the same drug, or a old proprietary drugs, old non-proprietary drugs. Same drug have several names. For example, diphenhydramine has a 13 different names, chloroform has a 16 different names, and phenobarbital has a 22 different names. While using these drugs, the name should be checked to see whether the required drug is taken. So the same drug having different names, so before using that you should know, or you should check the name of that drug. Then the next point that we are going to learn is definition of some medicinal terms. So there are different medicinal terms that is used in a medicinal chemistry that we are going to learn. The first term is pharmacon. So this term has been originated from a Greek word meaning pharmakon, meaning drug. So in Greek word, the drug is called as pharmakon. So it is a term originated from Greek word means drug. Then second one is pharmacology. Pharmacology is derived from a Greek word pharmakon means drug, in bracket active principle, you can say that it is active principle, and logos means study. So thus the pharmacology is the detailed study of the drug and their beneficial or harmful action on the living animals, organs and tissues. So pharmacology is the detailed study of drug and their beneficial, harmful action on the living animals, organs and tissues. The third term is pharmacophore. The physiological activity of drug has been found to be depend on the presence of some particular functional group or a structural unit. Such part of the drug which cause the physiological effect is known as pharmacophore, or you can say that it is a part of molecular structure that is responsible for the particular biological or pharmacological interaction that it undergoes. When pharmacophore is introduced into biologically inactive substances, it is possible to make the compound biologically active. By introducing suitable pharmacophore, it is even possible to make a drug less toxic than otherwise. Some example of pharmacophore groups are like alkyl group, hydroxy group, alkoxy group, aldehyde, ketones, halogens. These are the examples of pharmacophore. So by introducing this pharmacophore into the drug molecule, it can alter, it can activate the drug, it can deactivate the drug, or sometimes it can change the activity of a drug. So it is one of the functional group that is responsible for particular biological or pharmacological action of that drug. The next point is, next term is prodrug, that is used in a medicinal chemistry, medicinal terms, or it is a medicinal terms, prodrugs. What is prodrug? So a biologically active drug which by latentiation is converted into carrier form is called as prodrug, or inactive form of drug is called as prodrug. A biologically active drug which by latentiation converted into inactive carrier form is called as prodrug. Latentiation is a process of temporarily masking or cancelling the activity of a drug. A prodrug on reacting with enzyme or non-enzyme release some active drug, and latentiation of drug produces. So after latentiation, what are the latentiation produces? It can produces prolongation of action. After latentiation, it can produce the prolongation, or the drug can shows long time action. Then second one is shortening of action. Sometimes it decreases the action of that drug. Third one is drug localization. It helps to locate the active site where the action is required. Then third one is transport regulation. Fourth one is adjunct to pharmaceutical formulation. And this fifth one is lessening of activity and side effect. So by latentiation, these are the effect may be happen, that is prolongation of action, shortening of action, drug localization, transport regulation, adjunct to pharmaceutical formulation, lessening of activity and side effect. Then the next term is half-life efficiency. So what is half-life efficiency? That we are going to learn in detail. So information about the pharmacokinetics, that is time course of drug absorption, distribution and elimination, has an important role in understanding and planning of drug regime. Pharmacokinetics help in the selection and adjustment of drug dose schedule. So by studying this pharmacokinetics, you can schedule the drug dose. Elimination of most of the drug occurs exponentially. That is first order kinetics. Constant fraction of the drug in the body disappear in each equal time of interval. The rate of disappearance of drug from the body is reflected in the rate of lowering of its plasma concentration. Thus the drug removal from the body is proportional to its plasma concentration. The rate of an exponential process may be expressed in terms of half-life time, that is T1 half. The elimination half-life time, or a plasma half-life time, or biological half-life time, is the time required for completion of 50% elimination process. So the time required to eliminate 50% of drug from the body is called as half-life efficiency, or a plasma half-life, or a biological half-life. In case of drug whose elimination is exponential, the biological half-life time is independent of the dose, routes of administration and plasma concentration. It depends on the metabolism and the renal excretion of the drug. Reduced elimination of the drug cause prolonged biological half-life and prolongation of drug effect. So in a simple way, you can say that the time required for 50% completion of elimination process, that is called as half-life efficiency. Then LD50, the median lethal dose. What is median lethal dose? This dose expressed in mg per kg, which would be expected to kill 1/2 of the test population of some species and strain of bacteria or animal. So this LD50 median lethal dose is defined as the minimum dose required to cause death of 50% of the population is called as LD50. This dose in general is known as tolerance or threshold dose. The next term is AD50, median effective dose. So this is also expressed in mg per kg, which produces a desired response in 50% of test population. So this method involves the treatment of group of patients with a several dose in increasing amount of standard. Then the minimum concentration required to have a positive response from the test population is determined, and this is known as ED50, that is effective dose for 50% with standard. The minimum concentration required to have a positive response from 50% of test population is determined, and that is called as median effective dose, ED50. The next term is GI50, growth inhibition of 50% of cell. It is the concentration of the drug to cause 50% reduction in proliferation, growth of cancerous cell, or concentration of the drug required to inhibit the growth of cancerous cell by 50%. So GI50 is defined as the concentration of drug required to inhibit the growth of cancerous cell by 50%. Then next point is therapeutic index or TI index. It is an approximate assessment of safety of the drug and it is expressed in the ratio of median lethal dose to median effective dose. So this is the formula of that therapeutic index. It is the ratio of median lethal dose to median effective dose, that is LD50 to ED50. So the larger is the therapeutic index, safer is the drug. I am saying the larger is the therapeutic index, safer is the drug. For a safe therapeutic application, the therapeutic index must be more than 1. For example, penicillin has a very high therapeutic index. The therapeutic index gives only a rough idea about the safety of the drug. For example, the margin safety of aspirin, when used for headache is far greater than its margin safety for relief of arthritic pain or in the case of rheumatoid fever. This is because in the latter case higher dose is required. Hence, depending upon the clinical use of the drug, it may have many therapeutic index. So this will give you the rough idea about the safety of the drug. It is an approximate assessment of safety of the drug, and it is expressed as the ratio of median lethal dose LD50 to ED50. This is the formula of that. Then thank you.